great challenge, isn't it?
It's a huge challenge. Look, until he started running through straw men and cliches, everything Joe Biden said was true. It is, of course, hideous to lose a child. Everyone is upset about this. But this is not a competition to see who is vexed. This is a public policy debate. And Joe Biden doesn't know how to fix this problem. I don't know how to fix this problem. I think it's fair to say you don't know how to fix this problem. It's a very complex question in a country with 300 to 350 million guns on the street. And the way they talk is as if they have the answer, and there are just these recalcitrant forces in the country that say no, 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 even though somewhere deep down they know their legislation will work. That's simply not the case. It's far more complicated than that.
It is really complicated, Mark Halperin. We see it time and time again. As Willie said last hour, I support background checks. They had background checks in Oregon where this took place. Connecticut passed a lot of very aggressive gun control laws after Sandy Hook that were supported by most of the people in Connecticut. But if you look at the actual Sandy Hook shooting, none of those gun laws would have stopped what happened in Sandy Hook. We seem to keep chasing our tail here, and sometimes there are no pat answers for these very difficult problems.
Yeah, there's no question it's difficult. I just want to engage Charles a little bit in a civil way. You know, everyone in the country in a leadership position, journalism, politics, etc., should be evincing a thirst and a hunger and a passion to try to come up with solutions. To just talk about how other people's solutions won't work, or this is a complicated sociological issue, I just don't think that's enough. I completely agree with the president. People need to find solutions to this and not talk about what won't work and that it's so complicated. Well, we can't be the only country in the world that's like this.
All right, well then, with respect, what's your plan?
Well, I think that finding solutions are short-term in terms of legislation, state and federal, but then also coming up with ideas.
But which ideas, Mark?
I think some of the... Well, we can talk about specific policy in a second, but let me just finish the second point. You know, you say part of the issue involves young men. Well, again, public policy people should come up with ideas longer term to try to deal with the question of what is causing young men to do this and how can we stop it.
That they should. It's just that. Yeah. It's just that. Yeah. So you don't have any more ideas than I do.
Well,
I think is what we've established.
But I'm saying, well, I'm not an field. And again, I don't want to be civil. I'm not trying to criticize or attack you. All I'm saying is, as I listen to your tone, it's about this is complicated. The other side's ideas won't work. This is not just about young white men. I just think I want everybody in the country who has a public voice to be saying we passionately need to find solutions to this, not talk about how complicated it is. I'm not a policy expert, and I'm a journalist, not here to weigh in on particular provisions, but to say we need passion to solve this, not talk about complexity and talk about how the other side's ideas aren't any good.
It is complex and it is difficult,
so
and there are no ideas.
Then, Charles?
I didn't say. Well, look.
Well, what
again,
are you saying? Because you're basically saying, you know what? No one has the answers.
No, I'm suggesting.
No one can do anything about it. So let's not do anything.
What I'm suggesting is that Mark Halperin and President Obama and Vice President Biden and now you keep saying we need to do something.
Yes,
and that's it. That's it.
I could think of a number of policy ideas that I think are worth trying, and I think you would hate every single one of them.
But at least we could have a debate over those. What is it that you're proposing?
Like in Washington? Like what they gotten done in Washington?
What is it that you're proposing?
Nothing.
Well, okay, so let me make a few proposals.
I agreed with the Vice President. Sorry.
But he didn't make